And good morning to all of you. Thank you for coming to the Newbury Buddhist Society, the 2022 Kathina Robe Offering Ceremony. It's a pleasure to have you here, and Deva has been very kind to us. He has been raining all few weeks, and today is such a glorious, nice, sunny morning. And it will be a wonderful day for all of us.
Yeah.
Happy Kathina Day to everyone. And thank you to the monastics, Ajahns and the nuns for spending the Vasa here. It has been a great pleasure to have them here to support the NBM fourth here for so many years, and I'm sure there will be many more years to come.
Yes, I do.
Before I start, I'd like to acknowledge the elders, the Jaja Vurun of the traditional owners of the lands and waters on which we are now. We also like to acknowledge the neighboring traditional owners, the Wurundjeri to our southeast and the Wada Wurrun to our southwest, and pay our respects to all the Aboriginal peoples, the cultures, and the Lord. We acknowledge their living cultures and the unique role they play in the life in this region. And before we start with the official ceremony, there's some housekeeping routines I'd like to announce. I'm sure all of you will have known the location of the toilets. The females are in the female lodge there, and the male toilets are out there in the car park. Thank you.
Oh, another.
Okay. Just a quick note. Can we have the devotees please stay a little bit distant away from the AV team, around the side, please. You want to
please give them some cushions after the row of mats there. Please give them some cushions. I'm quite sure they need some cushions, because if you pull any of the wire, I think Sridhar will start crying.
Ah, okay. Yeah, don't touch the don't touch the wire.
Please come further. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. So just a brief of the program for today. We'll first of all we'll ask for the three refuges and ask for the three refuges and take precepts and the 5 precepts, and followed by that. The senior monks and nuns will do a reflections of the 2022 Kathina ceremony, and then after that, the monastics will give a talk. Nissarano will give a talk, a short talk, followed by a rice arms around Pinapata, and this will be followed by the blessing for the monastic. Around 11 a.m., there will be a shared communal lunch, and we invite all of you to share in the lunch and rejoice in these special occasions. And after the lunch, from about 12:30, we will have the official robe offering ceremony. All of you, would you kindly please stand in the circle around this circle here, and there will be four robe carriers who will be going around, and each of you can go and touch the robe as a gesture of being participating in the robe offering ceremony side of things. And 12:45, we will come here and we will make the offerings to the monastics here, and the offering ceremony will start from there. There are few things here which I will announce later on, but I will announce it later on, after when we are here for the ceremony here. So I think we should start with the official request. So I shall pass to Chinta to make the official request. Thank you very much. Chinta, please.
Oh, there we go, Chinta.
Chinta, just a second. I saw the monks coming in. Should I go and...
Oh, would that be good? Please, please.
Give me a 1 minute.
Yeah. They know where to come, I think. Ajahn, a Venerable Pasadika has been here, actually. That's nice if they can come in. Oh. Yeah.
Please, the young ones, please sit to this side so that you don't block the camera. Young ones, please sit towards the wall. Thank you, so that you don't block the camera. Thank you so much.
Please come in, Venerables. There we are. And I think there we are. There's 3 seats there. Lovely. That's great. And the monks have come from Damsua, forest monastery, which has just been established. Actually, just started really about a week or so. Actually on the first. So it's less than a week.
Only water is allowed
So
here. I'm
very,
sorry,
very new.
sorry, Ajahn.
So
Sorry.
welcome.
Only water is allowed into here, please. No other drinks. Thank you.
There we are. So welcome to the Venerables. Lovely. Now
We
can
welcome the
begin.
Venerables who have just arrived to
Yeah.
Newbury Buddhist Monastery. Please make yourself comfortable and hope you enjoy the day. So we should start with the official request.
Mayam Aye Tisaranena Saha Pancha Silani Yajama Dutiyampi Mayam Aye Tisaranena Saha Pancha Silani Yajama Tatiyampi Mayam Aye Tisaranena Saha Pancha Silani Yajama.
Saru, saru, saru. So please repeat after me. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Buddhang saranang gacchami.
Buddhang saranang gacchami.
Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Di saranang gamanang nititang.
Amang aye.
So now we will take the 5 precepts. I'll just explain in English. The precepts are not to kill, not to steal, not to have sexual misconduct, not to have wrong speech or lying, and also not to take intoxicating drinks and drugs. So we'll have the 5 precepts in Pali. Okay. I won't give you the 8 precepts. Okay. Right. Please repeat after me. Panatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Panatipata viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Adinnadana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Adinadana viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Kamesu miccachara veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Kamesu miccachara
veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Musavada veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Musavada veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Surameraya majapamadatana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Surameraya majapamadatana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Imani pancha sikkhapadani silena sugating yanti silena bhoga sampada silena nibbutting yanti tasma silang visodaye.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
That concludes the 3 refuges and the 5 precepts. Please observe your precepts well, purify them. Sukhi hotu.
Sadhu.
Thank you, Ayah, for offering the leaders to take the 3 refuges and taking the 5 precepts. Now we are passed the mic to Ajahn Nissarano.
Do you want to do the recollections of Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha? I think that was...
Sorry?
That's all right, we can, that's okay. All right, because we're running behind. Yeah, very good. So now is that we do on behalf of the monks, I will do a short reflection on the Rains Retreat, the Vassana that we have just spent here at Newbury Monastery. And then this will be followed by a short reflection from Ayah about the time for the nuns community here at Newbury Buddhist Monastery. But first of all, I'd like to welcome the visiting monks. Let's start with Ajahn Sadhguru. He's not really visiting because he's from the city centre in East Melbourne, and he's been there now well over a year and a half, or going on for 2 years next April. And the next monk from Damsua Forest Monastery, newly established, is Venerable Singapore Metananda. So he's here, spent the Vassa here in Australia. And of course the chief monk or senior monk, well, chief monk, you don't say senior monk, do you? Is Venerable, I think it's Yella Gokareli, Pasadika. So he is the senior monk, he's the monk who has established this new monastery, and he's also established an online Dhamma service, which is wonderful. That's reaching out, that's very, reaches a lot of people in Sinhala and in English, so that's great. And the next monk, of course, is Venerable Canadian Jinaratana, and he's come like Venerable Metananda for the Vassa, and we hope that they'll stay on after it. So that was just a welcome to the monks, and thank you very much for coming today for this, to our Kathina. So very good, because now they're living in an area, it's near Wallan, but it's Clonbinan. Anybody know Clonbinan? Never heard of it before. You, because
I used to live this way.
Yeah. Oh, you did. Oh, right. Because this Venerable Chi Kwang Sunim, and she lives in King Lake. She has a centre in King Lake, but so she's convalescing with us. She's had an operation, so she's convalescing here, which is great. So wonderful, and not so far from Clonbinan. Clonbinan. It takes a while to get the pronunciation. So anyway, so the purpose of this reflection is really, it reminds me of when I was at school and they asked us to write an essay, an assignment on what we did on our holidays. That's what I feel it's like, just to give a feeling for it, but just very short because, as I say, we are running somewhat late. So for this Vassa we had 5 monks. 5 monks in the monk section. The monk section, as most of you will be aware, is at the other end of the property, and that's in the new buildings. And having 5 monks is the qualification for having a Kathina. You need at least 5 monks or 5 nuns. And I'm very much looking forward to us having one day a double Kathina. the monks, 5 nuns or more. If we have more than 5, that's even better, isn't it? So that qualifies us. And I'll talk a little bit about Kathina in my talk, if there's much time left for a talk after that. And I just introduced the monks that spent the vasa here, because the focus of a Kathina really is on the Sangha, the monks, the nuns who spent the vasa in that monastery, in this case. The Kathina is focusing on supporting that monastery, those monks, and offering the Kathina robe, or Kathina cloth really, which I'll talk about later. And of course, I'm the senior monk here for the moment. I'm the second. There was Monk Jag before me, and I hope there will be many others coming after me, after my time. So this is what I can give at this time. And I have 25 vasas, or rains retreats, as a fully ordained monk. And the next monk who spent the vasa here is Ajahn Bodhicitta, and like myself, he ordained with Ajahn Brahm, and he has 18 rains, 18 vasa. And next to him, of course, is Ajahn Ranavihari, who didn't ordain with Ajahn Brahm, but spent quite a lot of time with him. And he is, this year, 17 rains, or 17 vasa. So you can see we're all pretty top heavy. We're all almost we're all terrors practically. And Ajahn Mudita, who's at the end of the line, who also ordained with Ajahn Brahm and is from Finland. He has 11 vasa, 11 rains as a monk. So this is the community that spent the rains here. And there's one more monk who's not here today, and that's Venerable Nivato. And he ordained with Ajahn Brahm, and he just finished his 5th vasa, which is a time which qualifies you to actually to start wandering around, going to different monasteries and experiencing different places. So he's doing that now. He started very quickly. So they're the 5 monks that spent the vasa together. And just to mention that the vasa is a very important time for a monastic community. It's really important because it's when we sort of stop. This is the important thing about the vasa. We stop. I realised when I thought, well, yeah, we do stop, but it's more like a pause. And that's so true for all of us. We need to stop. We need to pause. And this is the time of the year that the monastics, the monks and the nuns, we pause so we can go deeper into our meditation. We can go deeper into our contemplation and study. We can spend time on our own in our huts. We had 2-week personal retreats, and this is a wonderful opportunity. What that does, it really gives us the inner resources to serve the community too. It gives us the inner resources to develop the Buddha's teachings, the path, the Noble Eightfold Path. And this is such an important time. We're very lucky here in Australia. The rains retreat coincides with winter. Everything tends to slow down anyway, doesn't it, in winter? And so we've been very blessed. And of course, when I did my personal retreat, I really reflected on how good this place is, how suitable it is for developing the Buddha's path, developing the Dhamma, the practice of Dhamma. How good it is, and how much we owe to the lay community for that support. Everything here has been donated, hasn't it, by the lay community. And very much how much we owe to the committee of the Buddhist Society of Victoria. They do a fantastic job. I think of it more like full-time employment, really. It's really quite incredible. So it makes me reflect on how fortunate we are to be able to practice this path, how fortunate we are. We have still got the teachings that can lead to liberation, and how fortunate we are as monastics that we will be able to give more to the lay community, to the world. And the world really needs it, doesn't it? It's in a bit of a pickle, really. The world, it pretty much always is, but at this particular time it seems even more so, largely because we know about it. So I'd just like to give that short reflection because we don't have that much time, and on behalf of the monks community, so a very big sadhu to everybody that's made this possible, made it this 8 years that we've been here, the development possible that we see today. It's incredible. It really is. And it's a lot of work. It didn't happen overnight and didn't happen easily. So thank you very much for that. And I'll pass over to Aya for the reflection from on the rains retreat for the nuns. Because, yeah.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, Ajahn. It's always nice to have Ajahn speak first because he covers everything. I don't have to say much. And first I'd like to introduce Sunim Chikwan here. Chikwan Sunim. Let's place it the other way. Sunim is 40 over vasas?
Yeah, 43.
43 vasas. Wow. Yeah. So we are so happy to have her here to be able to take care of her. Sunim has been contributing towards Buddhism in Australia for a long, long time, and also a very strong supporter of the teaching monastics at BSV. We are very, very grateful that Sunim is always there for us. Yeah. And of course, we have two nuns who are now in Bodh Gaya. They have safely arrived in Bodh Gaya. One is Bhikkhuni Sankappa, accompanying Seminary Sunyata, who has gone there for her Bhikkhuni ordination in Bodh Gaya. So in Bodh Gaya, what we heard this time is that it's organized by Ayah Tataloka, Ayah Liu Fab, and Ayah Santini, and also supported by the Malaysian nuns and all that. So it's going to be a very auspicious occasion. After the ordination, it's going to be followed by a retreat and a Tripitaka recitation for about 12 days, and then an Indian pilgrimage. So we are so happy that at least we can send out one of our seminaries there. And of course, Ayah Santa is here, training to become a bhikkhuni too. We are hoping that she will be the one who will set a record here to be ordained at Newbury, and it completes our vision of having a place where we can ordain monks and nuns, especially for nuns, because there isn't a lot of places where nuns are accepted, recognized, or even to mention trained towards bhikkhuni ordination. So we are very, grateful to the BSV committee, to all our supporters from BSV and Newbury, everyone who supports us all these years, and of course, most importantly, to Ajahn Brahm and everyone from Perth, all our monastics from Perth who have come here to support this place, and also to ensure that we do have a proper fourfold community here, so unique in the Theravada tradition. So we really want to thank each and every one of you for supporting us in this Vasa. We really had a very wonderful, peaceful Vasa this year. After so many years of struggle, we had a very peaceful Vasa period this year, and I really wish that I didn't have to come out from Vasa actually. Yeah, 2 weeks is never enough. Yeah, so we hope that we can have more next time. So thank you all so very much. We hope that you have a very wonderful day today, and please make sure that you're on a noble path. We have been so blessed to be guided by all our good teachers, and also to have all the support here for our monastery, for the fourfold community. And when the retreat center is up next time, it's going to even benefit more, not only monastics but also our lay practitioners. Right? Thank you also very much. But now, Ajahn, can we take a few minutes just to pay respect to the Bhikkhu Sangha?
All right, you're welcome to.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Are you okay there?
Yes.
Chikwan? Because don't want to overdo it after the operation. It's the worst thing. There we are. So very nice. Sadhu, sadhu. There we are. Sadhu, sadhu.
Respect to the Bhikkhu Sangha.
Sadhu, sadhu. There we are. So, and for the Vasa, the nuns had four nuns, didn't you? You had three bhikkhunis and one seminary for the Vasa, for the rains retreat. So that's good. So in all, we had 4 plus the 5 monks. So that's 9 monastics, and that's really something to be very joyful about, that we have such a large resident community. It's one of the larger communities here in Victoria. I think maybe even more than they have at Bodhivana, which is a very established monastery. So I'd like to talk a little bit about the Kathina. For those, I think most people here know about Kathina, you know, I'm sure you've been to so many, because it's a very prized and treasured ceremony, celebration each year in the Buddhist world. And you see it, I see it in Sri Lanka, how much joy it gives to people, you know, and I had an email from someone the other day, and they said, I've been to 3 Kathinas, and I could tell, in Sri Lanka you'd probably say I've been to 7 or 8, or it's quite amazing. People really find it very, very joyful, and it's such an important event for them, and it brings a lot of happiness to them and arouses a lot of faith or confidence in the Buddha's teaching. So that's really a big part of Kathina. Actually, the purpose of Kathina is to bring up this joy and happiness, to use it for our practice of the Dhamma, particularly in meditation. It's very, very useful to have this faith. This faith is what drives us in life, actually. Those things that we think are valuable, that we've got confidence in, we've got faith in, they're the things we'll give energy to. So it's very important for the path. But of course we wonder, what is the overall purpose? What is the purpose that the Buddha had in mind, for instance, when he established Kathina? And it's a little bit different from what we have today, because the focus was, I'll give you the sort of the background, because we have the 3-month rains retreat, and this is called the rains residence of Vasa or Vas in Sinhala. And after the 3-month Vas period, we have the end, we have the invitation, where each of the monastics invites the other monastics to give them feedback about whatever they've seen, heard or suspected that they think is not good. So it's sort of like it's more of a ceremony. I've never heard anybody bring up major things in that on that occasion. But it ends the rains retreat. And then after the rains retreat, of course, then we can start the robe making season. There's 1 month after the robe. Are you okay?
Yes, Venerable Bodhicitta's just come.
Oh, has she? All right.
Excuse, I'll show her in.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, there we are.
Shall I go, Aya? I'll go and
Oh, that would be lovely. Thank you. That's good. So this is after the Pawarana, this invitation, as I mentioned, to give feedback. Then the community in the time of the Buddha would be making robes for 1 month. This is a big deal. It really is big, because at that time cloth was very hard to come by. No ready-made robes. You had to make them yourself. The monks made them, and they had this special frame. They call it the Kathina frame. And I don't exactly know what it looked like, but it'd be large enough to spread the cloth over and have monks sew all around it. So you could have a number of monks hand sewing a robe, which would make it quicker. So this is the month of making robes. And the Kathina is really the beginning of that robe making season, where the lay community offers cloth, and we make 1 robe, and we offer that robe to a monk who needs it. That's usually the basic requirement. These days, most monks don't need robes, actually. That's the truth of it. But it's a part of the ceremony, part of the tradition, to make this robe. And usually it was the monks who made that robe on the Kathina day. Very much in traditional Buddhist countries, and in Sri Lanka I see it mainly happens, the lay people make the robe. And I've seen a video actually of the lay people that were offering the robe at Dhamsua last year, and they were so happy and joyful making the robe. So I thought, well, that's fantastic. That's really good. They got a lot of joy and happiness out of doing that. That's because it will be an experience that they will really treasure for a lifetime. So for this, welcome Venerable Bodhicitta. We have Ajahn Bodhicitta and Venerable Bodhicitta. We've got a lot of bodhicitta today. Thank you for coming. Wonderful. Great. Yeah, no worries. There we are. So this is the beginning of the robe making season, in a sense, when people offer the cloth to make the Kathina robe, which the monks would traditionally make at the time of the Buddha. And then, if the lay community bought more cloth, then the other monks could sew their robes too. And they'd join together and help each other for this month. And then, when the month had finished, the robe-making month, which will finish on the full moon, the next full moon, which will be in Sri Lanka on Monday, and in the Thai tradition, Tuesday. When that finishes, then the monks go wandering with their new robes, the robe that they've made if they needed one, and then they would go wandering. So this is the purpose that the Buddha established the Kathina for the support of the Sangha, particularly both Sanghas, the Bhikkhu and Bhikkhuni Sangha, so they had enough robes. I was going to look up one of the quotations about how they got cloth at the time of the Buddha, and there's a lovely sutta where the Venerable Sariputta mentions as a simile, as an example, a description of a monk going to a cemetery, a funeral ground, and getting some discarded robes, discarded cloth, and then with his feet sort of spreading it out and then tearing off the section that could be used, that wasn't blood-stained or whatever. And so you can realise, when you read these descriptions, you realise it was very, very difficult to get cloth at that time. And of course later in the Buddha's dispensation, towards the end of his life, I think they would have been much better supported, and maybe even some robes made by tailors and other people, lay people. So this is the sort of background. It gives you the idea of why we have this important, what the importance of Kathina is. And really, for us, it's really honouring the Buddha by keeping a tradition, keeping the tradition of offering a robe or offering the Kathina cloth for making a robe, which is still done in Sri Lanka in some of the monasteries. The monastery that Ajahn Aranavihari ordained, where he ordained, Nauyena, they do it. They do. They make the robe. They even dye the cloth. Isn't that amazing? They dye the cloth, sew the cloth, and in the evening, that's when the robe is actually offered to the monk who is regarded, who needs a robe and is regarded to have enough wisdom to conduct the Kathina ceremony, and also enough wisdom in Dhamma. So certain qualifications to receive a Kathina cloth. That happens in the evening when you're not here. We don't sew the robe over very quickly. It takes a few hours to sew that robe. And we're very fortunate because we are blessed with two very good sewers, and that's Ajahn Sadharo and Ajahn Mudito. And they will, this afternoon, be sewing the robe, and we'll probably assist if we can. Often the other monks, if they assist, it means a lot of unpicking mistakes. I've seen it in the past. So this is really, isn't it? It's an offering to support. It's honouring the Buddha for sure. It's practicing the Dhamma in the sense that we focus on the qualities of giving, generosity. It's all about giving and generosity today, isn't it? We're offering robes and other things, other necessities for the Sangha. We're offering donations to support the monastery, to support the meditation, building of the meditation centre still going on. So these are qualities, especially generosity is a key quality for us as people. It brings happiness to us. When we focus on I, me and mine, what I want, what I need, it's a very, very miserable life. But when we give, we can develop a lot of happiness. So we're practicing Dhamma at a ceremony like today. We're also practicing thankfulness. Thankfulness from your side for the Sangha, providing teachings and hopefully providing inspiration for practicing the Buddha's path, because lived examples are so important for all of us. Kalyana Mitta has to be somebody that has developed good qualities in themselves and can be a role model. So it's a day of being thankful too. We call this Katanyutta. But it's not one-sided, is it? It comes from the Sangha too. We are very grateful for the support we receive from you. I often say to people at the dhanas, if people stopped bringing the food, the teaching would stop pretty quickly. The support wouldn't be there. If we didn't have the robes, we didn't have the food, the accommodation, the medicines, it would be very, very difficult. So what is keeping the Dhamma wheel rolling, the wheel of Dhamma rolling, is really that generosity, that mutual support between the lay community and the monastic community. That keeps it going. And it's very vital. Both sides of it are very vital. And of course, I often say to people, lay community, some people get a bit scared. I say, you are the source for the monastic Sangha too. I was a layperson at the Buddhist Society of Victoria in the 90s. So it's not as if we are a separate breed. The monastic community comes from the lay community. It's a continuum, it's a spectrum of practice, isn't it? A continuum of practice. That if we practice as a layperson within the conditions that we live in, having family responsibilities, all these sorts of things. But if the opportunity comes, or if we feel, often use this word in Christianity, a calling, feel this calling to become a monastic. We feel that we want to deepen the practice. We feel often it's because the meditation goes very deep. And we feel like, this is what I want to devote my life to, developing the mind. And meditation is such an important part of that. So it is a continuum. So many, hopefully in the future, many of the monastics here will be homegrown. They will have come from here. And in actual fact, Venerable Nivato, who is not here today, he's from Melbourne. His family is from Melbourne. And he actually started his monastic life here as an anigarika, we say, like a trainee, but he obviously went to Ajahn Brahm's monastery to ordain and to practice. So this day is also very much about, as I mentioned, developing the Dhamma, developing those good qualities that lead to happiness here and now and are foundations for developing the wisdom that liberates us. And of course a big part of that is keeping precepts, being the good person, being someone who feels good about ourselves because we're not harming others either by killing, either by stealing, sexual misconduct, lying, or taking alcohol and drugs. Those things lead to a drama, difficulties, and a lot of unhappiness in our lives. So this is the qualities we're developing today too, and hopefully throughout our daily life, through 24/7 really. It's a 24/7 path, the Buddha's teaching. And of course, lastly, the focus, of course, as I mentioned, is on Sangha, and particularly the Sangha that is resident here in the monastery to support that Sangha, the Bhikkhu Sangha and the Bhikkhuni Sangha. Give them the support to continue their practice, continue to be able to offer ordination to people, to men and to women, and also to be able to serve, to give teachings, to teach about meditation, all these things that we offer. So this is really the focus for today. And of course, that support traditionally was in terms of robes, but these days, as I mentioned, robes are in abundance. I often say to people, though, people will think, well, is it really relevant then? It may be in future. Who knows? In 10 years, it may be pretty hard to get cloth. It may be we have to sew them by hand again. So it's not that this ceremony is going to be complete. The Kathina is something that only relates to the Buddha's time. It can relate to the future very, very, very much so. Just at this moment, we have quite an abundance of robes. But it's really symbolic of that support, which is very, very necessary for the Sangha to grow, to become established here, and to help the lay community. And I like to think of this, of Kathina as being a community, a celebration of the Buddhist community, the whole community. The Sangha, of course, this is the focus today. Usually, we Vesak focus on the Buddha, and I often think of Asala Puja or Asala Poya, as we say in Sri Lanka, as a focus on Dhamma. Today is a focus on Sangha, but the monastic Sangha, of course, the bhikkhus and the bhikkhunis. But it's also a day for the Buddhist community, because a day when we come together and give and have that thankfulness for what we've received. So it's for the lay community, the lay men, lay women, the monks and the nuns. And I often think of I've been using this simile quite a bit, of the trees in a forest. You know, if you have a tree that's on its own, say on a hill, in an open space, and we have a storm, we have lots of rain, as we have had, very strong winds, that tree can be blown down very easily. But if trees are in a forest, if they're all together, it's much more difficult. Some of them will get blown down, but there is that support of the forest there. There is the support of the roots of those trees, no doubt interlocking and giving stability to all that forest of trees. And we as a community are like that. We are like a forest. If we're just on our own, many people in this society, isn't it? They feel they're on their own, they feel lonely, they feel exposed, and are prone to, many mental states that are not leading to happiness for them. But when we have a sense of community, we have support, that's quite different. We feel grounded. And in a community, of course, we find Kalyana Mittas, don't we? Kalyana Mitta, for those who don't know, is a spiritual friend. This is someone who we can relate to quite easily, a very agreeable person who understands the Dhamma maybe at a deeper level, who is an example of the qualities, good qualities that we aim to develop in Dhamma. Like, of course, that giving up, this is nekama, developing a kindness, loving kindness, developing harmlessness, all these good qualities, contentment, all these qualities. So this is what a Kalyana Mitta, a spiritual friend. They give us an example of somebody who has done that. And that's so important for us. I know I wouldn't have ordained, probably, if I didn't have a lived example. Who was that lived example? Ajahn Jagaro. It was before Ajahn Brahm, actually. Of course, Ajahn Brahm was definitely my focus as my teacher. But Ajahn Jagaro, many of you here will remember him from his time in Melbourne in the 90s and before that. He was such an important player in the Buddhist Society of Victoria, and his family were here as well. But he inspired me. And that lived example really gave me the faith, the confidence to think, I want to do this. I can do this. And of course, that's what a teacher does, really. And Ajahn Brahm says it again and again. It's like a coach. He's saying to you, you can do it, you can do it. And of course, we can do it. And of course, the Buddha's teaching gives us the path of developing the mind, developing the heart. So this image of the forest is very important for me, I think, in terms of community and that support and providing that stability for us. And so it's something we celebrate today at this monastery. And as Aya mentioned, it's a monastery for the fourfold Sangha, a fourfold community. We call it fourfold. It's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it, really? But that's, of course, the bhikkhus, bhikkhunis, and the laymen, laywomen. But I have got a shorter definition of it. I call this monastery, it's better for Malaysian people actually, the 3-in-1 monastery. 3-in-1. Do you know what a 3-in-1 is? Anyone know what a 3-in-1 is? Other people go, no, I thought it wouldn't be. For Sri Lankan people, it doesn't mean so much. These are the little satchels that you get 3-in-1. Coffee, you get either whitener, coffee whitener, or milk powder, and sugar, 3-in-1. And then you just pour it in, add the hot water. And that's what this monastery is, 3-in-1. We've got the bhikkhus, the monks. We've got the meditation centre in the centre of it for the laymen and laywomen. And we've got the bhikkhuni Sangha, the nuns, here in this area. And these areas will be dedicated to the community. So this is 3-in-1 monastery. Ajahn Brahm's monastery, in Western Australia, obviously more resources, it's all separate. They have a meditation retreat centre near the monastery, the monks' monastery, and then the nuns' monastery a long way from the monks' monastery. So they don't have the 3-in-1 monastery we have. So you can look up 3-in-1 if you're wondering what it is. And so it's very good that we have qualified this year to have a Kathina, to have the 5 monks, the necessary to qualify for a Kathina. And as I said, I'm hoping that in future we will have a double Kathina. Isn't that greedy? One for the monks and one for the nuns. And that will be a really significant event. This is quite a significant event for us as well. So this is the significance of Kathina. It's such a joyful day for us, a day to celebrate how far we've come, you know, and it's quite a long way. I often say to people in Sri Lanka, many of the monasteries are, well, some of the monasteries over 2,000 years old. So 8 years is not far, but hopefully this monastery will be here for a very, very long time, and many laymen, lay women will become monks and nuns, and some of the monastic community and the lay community, may they develop stages of enlightenment, stages of awakening. From first stage from awakening, of course, stream entry, Sakadagami, once returner, Anagami, non-returner, and Arahant. So that, of course, is what the path is for, and that is this is what a monastery offers, that opportunity. And this monastery, very, very suitable for it. It really is. It's so important to have a monastery in a forest, in nature. This is really very, very supportive for our Dhamma practice, for our contemplation, and for developing that inner peace from just being on our own and really working out what this body and mind is about. Once each of us understands what our own body and mind is about, we know what everyone's body and mind is pretty much about. It's always the same story. So this is the importance, the value of having a monastery like this. So sadhu for coming today and all the hard work that people have put in to organise this ceremony, and for the committee of the Buddhist Society of Victoria, all the work that they've done, for the technology people, the tech team as I call them, for making the live streaming and the microphones work. So all the hard work that's gone into it. And I know from Kathinas in Sri Lanka, I know from going to Kathinas at Ripplebrook and at Dhamsur, how much joy people get from doing it, and they do it beautifully. In Sri Lanka, the Kathinas are usually just amazingly beautiful, so it's very inspiring when we see that. But we know that it's a lot of work. So that's the talk for today, I think, just to focus on Kathina, a little bit about what it is and how it fits in to the rains retreat and what happens after the rains retreat, that the purpose is really the support for the Sangha, also for the propagation of Dhamma. So it's a very, very important day, and we are in a forest. We are part of the forest together, and that's the important thing. And when we come together like this, it reminds us, yes, we are a community. We are supporting each other. We are giving each other strength. And we are each helping each other to practice the path, develop the path, and go deeper. So, sadhu for today.
Sadhu.
Thank you, Ajahn.
Yes.
So it is, so it shall be, and it shall continue to be, and the Dhamma wheel shall continue to roll.
Yeah.
The next program will be the offering of the rice arms in the Pinapata. So when we go out, please form a big circle around the circle here. And then our community lunch will start at 11. And during the time after your lunch, please feel free to look at the stalls. Some of the stalls, most of the funds will go, all the funds will go towards the Newbury Building project. So your support will be very, very helpful. And also I'd like to make a special mention that we are also trying to, well, as you come through the Beaches Lane before you turn around, you have seen some of the new buildings. That is the center zone, that is the meditation retreat center that is coming up. Well, original contract plan was supposed to finish the project by, well, around now. That was the original project. But then the pandemic had actually delayed the building project because of the shortage of supplies and labours and whatnot. Now the next updated plan is now been scheduled for the June 30th. Well, we hope to tie them down. But in the meantime, although we have very, very fortunate with the support of Ajahn Monastics and the Newbury Sanghas here and all of you here, we have managed to raise the 6.4 something million plus for the contracted building cost for the project. However, because of the increase in material price and the shortage of supplies and things like that, we have to pay for some of the extra material costs, so we have to raise some extra funds for that. Plus also the contract price does not include furniture and fittings and some of the equipments as well. So we'd like to use this opportunity to raise some extra funds to pay for the extra increase in material costs and supplies, and also for the furnishing, and some of the information are out in the stores there. We are hoping at this stage that it's not finalized yet because we're still in the negotiations with the builders, and we hope to finalize it between the month or so. We are looking to raise about another 600,000 to pay for all these extras here. So we have about a few more months to raise these 600,000. We hope that through your general support from our communities, we are able to meet that, to get the retreat centers completed by June 30th at this stage. Mm-hmm. For those who have purchased robes there, you may place your robes behind the stalls. The robe offering ceremony will start at 12:30. Please do and collect your robes behind the stalls at 12:30, and we will examine you to make the offerings here. Before we assemble here, there'll be 4 rope carriers, and please form a circle also as you have did for the alms offering. To form a circle, and we will the 4 ropes will go around to be touched by each one of you as a gesture of also in partaking the offerings. Mm-hmm. So I'll make further announcement in that case. Please. I think I've stated enough as well. I'll make further announcement later on, and we should then proceed for the alms offering. Yeah. Thank you very much for your attendance and support. We see you soon.
And please do join in the procession with the carrying the Kathina cloth and the other robes as well. You're welcome to join in it. We hope that children will join in, but I don't see many children, so that may be. But Ravi's group is organising it, and it will start at the gate to the nuns area, you know, the gate you probably came through. So you're welcome to join in any stage, and it will go around this circular road at least once and 1.5 times, I think. That's about it. So everybody can get a go that way to touch or join in. So thank you very much, Oi. Te Rāwan Saranai.